The one thing I love about Browns fans, no matter how dark it seems, no matter how bad this player seems to be, no matter what we think of a draft pick, a coach, or a GM, we always seem to find some optimism. We always seem to default back to a way to find the best out of it. And I think it's a defense mechanism at times because we've been hurt so much, we've been burned so much. And sports are supposed to be fun. Sports are supposed to be an escape. It's what you enjoy to do. And when it doesn't go bad, you still try to find a way. Things seem bad for the Cleveland Browns right now. Are they really, truly that bad? And have you lost that optimism when it comes to the Cleveland Browns? We'll discuss all that right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. We welcome you in this morning. Sorry, we're a little late. Right before the show, Ryan, I got the call. My kids at school throwing up everywhere. Great.
I remember those days.
Yeah. Now it's flipped, though. You're the parents. Yeah. Now I'm like, and it's like that awkwardness where like, I'm a realist. I'm like, is this like, I need to come get him right now? Like, God bless my wife. We're getting it all figured out. But anyway, so we apologize for being a little bit late. We're jam-packed this morning. They did officially sign Kareem Hunt yesterday. We're going to hear from Kareem Hunt coming up. We got Kevin Stefanski sound. We're going to talk a little playoff probability, too. Because it's going to get into our starting question here today about your optimism or your belief about this Browns team and how different it's going to look. We'll get to the morning update. We got Time Hop and Thursday night football. It's getting spicy, Ryan.
I'm excited.
And I like a play.
I'm hoping for a really good game.
I like a play. You might not get it, okay? You might not. I don't know. It's bad. There's injuries on the Giants' part. It's already shifted the line. It's already shifted the over and under. You know me in Thursday Night Football. You slam the under. It didn't work last week. It's going to work this week. I got it at a different line, by the way. It's already moved some points. So we'll get to that all coming up here on the show with our friends at Tipico. Big Play 150 to get signed up with them. So now that we're past Monday Night Football and we're past everything, we've had a time to kind of digest and move forward a little bit. It's still raw with the Nick Chubb injury. You signed Kareem Hunt. We discussed that a lot yesterday. Could do a lot worse than Kareem Hunt as your backup running back. Jerome Ford's going to be your starter moving forward. But now we talk about where this team is at. Like, just where this team is at. And we start from a base of we all feel bad about what happened to Nick Chubb. And it sucks. And nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to see him go down that way. But from a pure, cynic standpoint, I'm a Browns fan. I'm a Nick Chubb fan too, but he's out and it's done. Okay, he's on IR, it's over. He's going to have multiple surgeries. I hope he comes out well, and we'll start to look towards next season for him. I still have 15 games left. The Browns still have 15 games left to try to make something. And that's the craziest thing for me, just to say that statement. To try to make something out of this, they still have 15 games left. You could be 0-2. You could be in different situations. You could be the Bengals. Man, have they made an error in judgment. We'll get to that coming up. But where the Browns sit today at 1-1 with a win in the division already, a clunky loss against the Steelers. Oh, dude, this weekend, and there's already some people picking the Titans this weekend. I'll tell you about who it is coming up. Not me, but it's a tough game against the Titans, against an AFC, opponent too, by the way. It's still all in front of us, or at least it still should be. And it comes back to, do you believe the Browns are making the playoffs? And we're going to post that right as our Twitter question this morning at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. We're live up on YouTube. We're up on our Twitter spaces as well. And then, of course, on the iHeart app. Download that, too. But by the way, folks, it's super easy to get to. You go to the iHeart app, search Big Play, and you get our shows live. You get the replays of all of our shows. Oh, by the way, a brand new show here. Bruce Drennan joining us here on Big Play. When's Bruce coming on our show? We should have grabbed him yesterday. He was here.
Bonus time with Bruce Drennan.
I feel like it might be a segment with him every week. Maybe I'll join his show. I don't know. You have to see. But yes, if you missed it, Bruce Drennan is now a part of Big Play. He's going to have a show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. You can get on all our social media platforms. So welcome Bruce into Big Play. Excited for that. But where you stand with the Browns, it comes back to, I guess, a belief before the season, did you think they were making the playoffs? And Ryan, am I crazy to say that almost everybody felt like the Browns were going to find a way to make the playoffs, right?
It was definitely the popular opinion.
Exactly. And over on the wins, which is somewhere around 9.5 was the over on the wins, and not by a lot. You're talking 10 or 11, somewhere around there. But the vast majority of people feel like the Browns were a playoff contending team. Now that we are 1-1, you had a bad loss against the Steelers, and frankly, let's call it for what it is, a bad win against the Bengals. But now you're without Nick Chubb. And it's almost, I would like to see what was the emotional toll on that. And it's more important, and a question that I don't think has been discussed enough, what is the emotional toll on the team? Because that's another element that we will find out Sunday when the Titans come to town. The Titans are a mentally tough team. We know that. They're a tough team physically with Mike Vrabel as their head coach. And they're coming in as the dog. And I'm going to tell you, they are one of the picks for the upset this weekend. They are one of the picks. They are 3-point dogs. It's the customary home 3-point favorite for the Browns. I would imagine that money might move it a little bit, too, by the end of it, by it's all said and done. So we'll see. But they are going to come in here, and then I'm going to instantly look to the Browns sidelines. Are they sharp? Are they mentally focused? Or was this week really, was it too much? And you might be saying they're professional athletes. They better find a way to get this done. They're still people. They're still human beings that watched one of their teammates and one of the most important people on their team go down to a devastating injury. That's not easy. Just be like, go out there and play the game. Go out there and get it done. But I'm also in a position that I cannot make excuses anymore. They have got to win Sunday. And not to spoil our picks, which we'll do tomorrow at Tipico, the Browns have no choice but to win Sunday. And I think they will. I think they're going to cover that 3, and they'll get it done. God help us if they don't, because then just the spiral is going to start, and then all the questions, all the things that really we've been fending off. This week we've been fending off. Picture myself as the old school. You ever watch that in the Olympics? What is that called? The sword. Wait, there's a real name. Fencing. Fencing. Thank you. Fencing. Rhetorical question that has nothing to do with anything. How in the hell do you get into fencing?
I've never witnessed in my life like it.
I guess fencing. If you're a son or daughter of fencers, I guess it kind of runs in the family. But how do you say, like, of all the things, I have 2 little ones. I've got nieces and nephews. My nephew is starting to get into wrestling. Like, there's some ice skating for hockey. My niece does dancing, gymnastics. Like, how do you take a kid at probably 4 or 5 years old and go, hey, here's a sword. We're going to get you into fencing. I know it's not a real sword.
I feel like it's one of those sports that really only very wealthy people participate in.
What are you trying to say, Ryan? What are you trying to say?
I've never seen fencing in my life.
Fencing and polo club. Yes. Yes. What if you put fencing and you put them on a horse?
That's jousting.
Didn't even think about it. You're right. Yes, Ryan. Well done. Another sport. You go, how the hell did you get into jousting? How in the hell did you get into jousting? Well, I was a fencer.
I watched Game of Thrones and I really wanted to joust.
I was really rich. And I was really into polo and I was really into fencing. So I just comboed them and became jousting. Well done. What did you think on your feet there? You're right. That is jousting. Oh, man. Fencing. Can we get that bet on Tipico? The Olympics are right around the corner. Anyway, sorry, we're talking about me fending things off. All week, we've been fending off these thoughts, ideas. We've been fending off Kevin Stefanski's not the right coach. Deshaun Watson's not the right quarterback. Tell me we haven't been, right? Like, those are things that when you have the game like you did, it all comes out of the woodwork. And it brings up the emotional scars that we have. It's the thing that you do. And really, it's not just Cleveland. When you have bad losses in some places, you start to question that. The thing is, we don't have that established coach with some cachet. We don't have the quarterback with cachet. He's got cash, but he does not have cachet. These are guys that you want them to prove it. You want them to be in a position that even a little loss here and there isn't a big deal. But it really comes back to, they haven't proven it. So they don't have everything that you would fall back on and be like, oh, this was a rough patch, but remember all the good that they've done? Or remember all these big games that they won? They haven't had that yet. So this week has been defending it off and really probably more talking about Nick Chubb. They lose Sunday, and there's no more defending it. If they lose Sunday, it's all going to start. Fire Stefanski, get out of the Deshaun Watson contract. And by the way, tomorrow's show, 9:30, Jack Duffin's going to join us. Jack works for OBR. Really has been one of the more popular Browns analysts and reporters really this year. I stumbled upon him like many people on Twitter. And Jack does a great job with the cap and working things like that and writing at OBR. He wrote an article this week about how the Browns could get out from Deshaun Watson's contract. It ain't going to be easy and it ain't going to be quick, but how they could. Well, I do want to talk about that with Jack tomorrow. He's going to join us at 9:30 tomorrow. So be locked in on a Friday. But all of that is going to start on Monday or right after the game if they lose. Now, they go out and win. Not everything is all grandioso, right? It's the double-edged sword. A loss, and we start spiraling into a black hole of hell. We win, it just eases. It is not equal. This is one thing. This is one game that is not equal. They could go out and throttle the Titans 40-0, just like the Giants got from Dallas. And you're going to come out of that game going, all right, I feel a little bit better, but we need to prove it against Baltimore. Where if you lose, and even lose by a point on a last-second field goal, we're going to start on Sunday afternoon, Monday morning. Fire Stefanski, Watson's not the guy, all hell is breaking loose. That's the dichotomy. It's not fair. It's not equal. And that's why this game is a must-win for the Cleveland Browns. Is it a must-win when it comes to playoff probability? Well, maybe we'll get to that coming up because I do want to talk about that, of where the Browns sit. There's a chart about where the Browns sit, and I've been looking for this forever, Ryan, because there was one years ago when it was a 16-game schedule. Now there is 17. And last season, 2 years ago, they updated a table that we're going to bring up on the show about your record and your percentage chance to make the playoffs. And it's literally, I could start at 0-1, I could get all the way to 4-5. It's just a graph, and you'll see it when we come back. It'll tell you right where the Browns sit. And also, do want to look at strength of schedule. Because our Twitter question this morning, which is up at Matt Fontana Show, do you still believe the Browns are going to the playoffs? And we are presuming, if you will, presumptive, that you had the initial thought that they were going to the playoffs. With everything that's happened, do you still think that is the case? Vote on that. We'll take a look at this chart as soon as we come back. I'll tell you about some of the strength of schedule as well. And then coming up about 9:30, we'll hear from Kareem Hunt. He's back in the building yesterday. Great to see him. I was really impressed with the deal they got done. And we got a little more information on that, heavily incentivized. We got it all for you. Thursday edition, Matt Fontana Show, right here on Big Play. Check us out, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, on-demand shows, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And check us out at bigplay.com. Percentage chance for the Browns to make the playoffs, even at 1-1. I'll tell you what it is next. Stay with us. I'll come out and break. I want to see him too. Cool. Thanks. All right, back here on the Matt Fontana Show. 1-1 for the Browns. It feels worse than that, Ryan. Literally, we feel like we're 0-7 right now, and it's mostly because you had a devastating injury to Nick Chubb. That sucks. That hurts. But not all is lost. And right now, it seems like we need to rally the troops, turn it to a game on Sunday against the Titans. It's a must-win. But do you still believe the Browns are going to go to the playoffs? That is our Twitter question this morning right here on the Matt Fontana Show. Welcome on back. You can still bet on it, I believe, at Tipico. Let me see. Hang on. Let me log back in here to our friends at Tipico. Because a lot of times you can, I don't know about in-season. I'll have to check this. Because, before this season, you could place bets on over-unders on wins and things like that. But I would imagine that the Browns are still probably about even money when it comes to making the playoffs. Because that's where we're at. Like, right now, I think at 1-1, and even with everything as bad as it's gone, Ryan, there's still a look at it. There's still a really good look at it for the Cleveland Browns. Now, it comes back to several things, strength of schedule, which I'll tell you about in a second. And you did look... This is the hardest part. Because we sit here and we say, it's Nick Chubb. It's not a quarterback. But to a lot of people, and to really as we know how important it is here, it's more than just that. It really is. Because it's how important and what this offense was brought up to be. What we thought this offense was going to be with him.
Yeah, when you lose a running back who's averaging like 6 yards a carry in the fourth quarter, you got to find another way to close out games.
All right, here we go. Tipico. Big Play 150 to get your bonus bets, including a bet for tonight that we will make. There's you can get your bonus bets. Big Play 150, I'll tell you in a second. To make the playoffs on Tipico for the Cleveland Browns, yes is minus 145, no plus 117. So the slight the favorite at 145 is to make it. Now, those are semi-close. It's not minus 200. It's not anything like that. Like for the Buffalo Bills to make the playoffs, they are minus 250. Baltimore to make the playoffs, minus 370. So they really feel like Baltimore's going to make it. So the Browns are right there. They're in the hunt for this. And with all that in mind, let's bring this graphic up. So this is from the NFL. So I found this, and this was from I found this graphic years ago. Absolutely years ago. And it was exactly as you see it, where the top left of the graphic, and if you want to, can you take the whole screen over there, Ryan, just for a second, just for people to see it? There we go. Take me over. You don't need to see me. You're right over me. That's fine. That's perfect. Here, I'll just lean this way. Here we are. No, so this graphic is exactly what it looks like. The wins are on the top left, and the losses are on the bottom left. So if you go 17-0, 100% chance to make the playoffs. I get it. Even at 10-0, you have a 100% chance to make it. And this is using a 17-game schedule with the 17-team playoff system that is now in place. We're right down on the bottom left. You can see down there, 1-1, 43% chance to make the playoffs. Now, here's the problem. You jump to 2-1, you go up to 55%. You fall to 1-2, you fall to 32% chance to make the playoffs. And I understand that these are just numbers and these are statistics and these are probabilities. You can always, buck the trend, go against the curve, whatever cliche word you want to, whatever you want to say. So that's where we sit today with the Cleveland Browns. And I just think that graphic was really cool. Again, you see it 6-5, wherever you kind of finish it out. Then we go to strength of schedule. And this was the strength of schedule for the Browns starting the season. And this is from Sharp Football Analysis. And Warren does all the, again, deep dive in the analytics. The Browns had the 19th easiest, if you want to look at it that way, schedule in the NFL. Or conversely, 2, 4, 6, 8, 19 minus 32 would be 12. Or because it's 13 team, whatever. 12th, 13th hardest schedule in the NFL. They're slightly about average. Slightly about average, with the Falcons having the easiest schedule and the Patriots, Raiders, and Dolphins having the hardest schedule. And that was based off of projected win total, but also how Warren does his. It's not if you just made the playoffs last year. It's how many teams you are facing and how many wins Warren thinks those teams are going to get. So I think it's actually more of a true indicator of the strength of schedule because it's about what the team is this year versus what they did last year. So I bring all that up to say this. As dark as it looks, at this point, from what we see with our friends at Tipico, from what we see based off of an analytic graph of history, and what Warren Sharp tells you about the strength of schedule, it's still about a 50-50 proposition. It doesn't feel that way. It does not feel that way because of how bad things went this week for the Cleveland Browns. But I sit here and I tell you, and obviously this is where I'm going to vote, the Browns are still going to the playoffs. They are. And is it blind faith? I guess to a point. And Deshaun Watson, that might actually be a bigger deterrent for people feeling like they're going to go to the playoffs, right? A bigger deterrent would be not just losing Nick Chubb, it's that Deshaun Watson has looked like crap for 2 games. And that you might be sitting there trying to say, Matt, they're not going to the playoffs. Their quarterback's playing to a 32nd in the league in some metrics. They are. Deshaun Watson's playing to. He's the worst quarterback in the league, depending on how you want to look at some things. And I understand all of that. I do. But I also watched how this defense played in 2 games. And hopefully how this defense is going to play come Sunday. Because there is one name to the game for Sunday, and that is to stop Derrick Henry. And that's a hard thing to do. I get it. Ryan Tannehill sucks. I'm going to eat those words on Monday like I always do, Ryan. But Ryan Tannehill sucks. He's not good. He's going to throw 4 touchdowns, and we're going to save that.
He is a horrible first name.
He's so bad. Terrible, Ryan. Obviously, awful. Awful. Ryan Tannehill's not good. So the name of the game is it's always been the time to stop that. The defense is playing well. And it's not where I believe this defense can just pick this Browns team up and carry it into the playoffs. That's not what I'm saying. I think they can keep things afloat long enough for the offense to come around. Why do you believe the offense is going to come around, man? Why? How do you? Nick Chubb overcoming that is hard. And that's going to be a tough thing to do for Kevin Stefanski. It's crazy, and I know this. I'm grasping at straws, trying to find a way. With Nick Chubb going down, you now are going to sit down and look at Deshaun Watson and go, "Yeah, this is on you now, man. This is it. We have nothing else going for us right now. We have a talented group of wide receivers that we have not been getting involved outside of Amari Cooper. Can we please, God, throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones and Elijah Moore a little, please? Just please." Stop Derrick Henry and throw those guys the football. It's all I want to see on Sunday. And made kicks. Dustin Hopkins. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you.
You're asking a lot.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Is that
to us? It might be.
Make field goals and throw it to some other receivers other than Amari Cooper. It's not really that hard, but yes, it can be. No, but you're going to Watson and saying, dude, you have got to right this ship. You have got to turn this around. And I understand that is pressure, and that is kind of equated to negativity. But the positive is it's on him, and he's the guy that should be able to do it. I don't know. I'm crazy. I'm loony. I understand it. I get it. This is part of me being a Browns fan. There is no reason ever that I should sit here and still have the belief that I do. But I'm sorry. You have an offense that should be better than they are, and thank God a defense that is playing out of their minds right now. And it's 2 games in. If you really want me to get down to it, it's 2 games in, and frankly, you should have won Monday night. You should have won Monday Night Football. For as bad as it's been. Does that ease the pain? Yeah, actually, I think it would. Losing Nick Chubb, whatever. But if you won that game, it'd be a little different. And be in a little bit different spot. And Sunday's game against the Titans, you win that game, it's not going to make everybody feel better. I know that. It's going to take time, and maybe after that Baltimore game. You win against the Titans, you go beat Baltimore, go into the bye 3-1. Now we're maybe talking a little bit. But I want to see where Browns fans are at when it comes to their faith on the team. I still think they're making it. I still think they're making the playoffs. Ryan, cast your vote for us on our Twitter question up at Matt Fontana Show. Do you still think the Browns are going to make the playoffs?
So my logic has a bit of fallacy in this, although there's truth to it. So if they beat Tennessee, yes, I think they'll make it. And if they lose, obviously the percentage goes down, so I'm going to say no. But So I think they're going to win.
So you're casting your vote on. You're basically going to vote on how they play Sunday, or a win or a loss Sunday is going to how you flip this question, right?
Right. So I'll say yes because I think they're going to beat Tennessee. But I'll tell you what, I am so uneasy seeing Deshaun Watson on Twitter yesterday blocking more than several members of the media, and it just was so OBJ and his dad with the Video and Baker vibes. And like we know that situation turned the whole Browns locker room into, I'm going to use a word here, Matt, cattywampus. A straight disarray. Oh, I see your block too.
You got me. Oh, can you see it? Deshaun Watson blocked me. For what? I don't know. And that's the thing. I guarantee you he just went through and, was finding media members and doing it. I didn't know if we were going to talk about it this morning, but you mentioned it, Ryan. We've seen this play out. For those that don't know, Deshaun Watson on Twitter yesterday, he went through and he blocked a lot of media members, and some for probably no reason other than the fact that they're in the media. If he ever watched this show or listened to our show, he would know that I'm pretty much a realist when it comes to Deshaun Watson. And I won't apologize for that. I'm asking a lot out of him. He was paid $230 million. And as we just got done saying, I have a belief that he can turn it around. Fine. There are other people that are followers, I'm trying to come up with a better term friendly for the family out there. They're groupies, and it's not just for Watson. That's for every quarterback, and there are people that he can do no wrong. Okay, fine. Then there's the complete opposite side, the people that hate him for what he did off the field. They'll never give him another chance. They'll never give him an opportunity. That's your prerogative too. And those people are in the fan base. They're in the media. They're everywhere. I understand that completely. But one of the things when it comes to playing quarterback, as it is with being a head coach, is your appearance, your outward appearance, and your confidence that you instill in others. Linemen, DBs, it's a little bit different. Public perception matters. No matter what he thinks or no matter what he says, that stuff matters. Again, it doesn't necessarily for Joel Bitonio, and they're still professional athletes. This is all within the realm of still being a professional athlete. You've got to do things that are, you got to do the right stuff. I get all of that. But I'm talking about being the quarterback. I'm talking about being the head coach. The things that they say and do matter. If Joel Bitonio got on Twitter and started blocking everybody, it's like, well, whatever. Okay, fine. Deshaun Watson, and trust me, and is everybody listening? I want everybody to follow this right now. I don't give a damn that he blocked me. I don't care. I wasn't, frankly, following him anyway, to be honest with you. I don't care. There are plenty of guys that have social medias that don't use them. They're not worth following then. I wasn't following. I don't care. I'm not missing out on seeing any tweets. Doesn't really bother me. It's the appearance that it's bothering him. And if you want to come back with he's trying to block out this or he's trying to be focused, then shut down your social media. And I understand, and that's fine. And there are plenty of athletes that say, what does LeBron do in the playoffs? 0 Dark 23, right? He shuts it down. He's off social media. Doesn't want to say, that's fine. This comes off, like you said, Ryan, as Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham drama. This comes off as this stuff is getting to me, and frankly, that they are reading and listening to it. I've not been doing this job as long as a lot of people. Sorry, Bruce, I love you. But I've been doing this coming up on 15 years, okay? And I have lived in an era that social media has been a big part of me doing this job. From the infancy to where we're at today. And through that, and through the lens of it's not just on TV and radio anymore. Here we are on YouTube. Here we are on your social media platforms. Here we are on podcasts. And I will tell you, more athletes, front office people, and coaches listen than you think. And this isn't some pat on the back. And I'm not even talking about our show. I'm talking about any sports show in this town that you know of. They watch more than you think. And there's this level of they want to know what people are saying. They want to know what the critics are saying. And I sometimes, again, it's negative, so I don't understand why you'd want to let that impact, but they can't help themselves. And especially the players that are sometimes a similar age, or more often than not, now that I'm getting up there, they're a lot younger than I am. So they're even more hooked in on social media than even I am. And they just can't help themselves but to shovel it and just say, I want it all. When in reality, the best thing to do is to not worry about it, but they can't help it. So when he comes out and he starts blocking people, again, I don't care that he blocked me. I wasn't following him anyway. But the optics that it sends to everybody and the fact that it is now a story that a lot of people are going to talk about are all things that he doesn't need. And then the biggest question is why he felt like he needed to do it. To guard himself against what? Negativity? To guard himself against what we have to say? And if that's the answer and he still wants to be active on social media, I'm not saying he can't be active on social media. Bro, create a burner account. Create a burner. I'm usually not a fan of burners because usually illicit things happen on burner accounts. Create a burner that nobody knows about. You can scroll to your heart's content.
There was already an account on Twitter that had like 0 followers, and it said like Deshaun greatness or something.
Oh, that's
like
what
that.
I'm saying. Like, well, then that's a whole nother ball of wax. When the family gets involved or burner accounts come out and they're trying. Here's, I guess, my biggest piece of advice for Deshaun Watson. And to be frank and honest, I could use this advice myself. Don't search for satisfaction and gratification through the social media. Don't do it because you'll go mad. You will go loony. In a way, social media is very fake. What's Elon trying to do now? He wants people to pay for it, so what? He can cut down on bots.
Are you telling me everything I read on the internet isn't true?
Wait a minute, Ryan.
No.
I thought the Bears got raided by the FBI yesterday. That's coming up at 10 o'clock in the morning update. What a crazy story that is. Social media is a powerful thing. And I'd be stupid to sit here and say anything else. But if you want to sit there and search for the gratification, here's the thing. You can find it. And you can find anything on social media. You want to find all these people that think you're great and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, it doesn't matter. And the one thing that I would say to Deshaun Watson, he just got here in Cleveland. And again, I'm sure people have told him, but does he truly understand the opportunity that is at his feet? It's the same opportunity that was afforded to Baker Mayfield, Cody Kessler, and Deshaun Kaiser, Colt McCoy, all of them. Is that you will be a legend in this town if you do the things that we want you. If you can just take us to the playoffs like Baker Mayfield did, go win a Super Bowl. Now, again, Watson will always be a conflicting story. It'll always be hard for people based on how he came here with the trade that was necessitated by the things he did off the field. And I'm sorry to say that there will always be people that'll hold that against him. And if you're in that opinion, you're right to do that. That's fine. But there are going to be people that only want you to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. And stuff like this just doesn't matter. And the problem with the optics is it's telling everybody else that it does. It's telling everybody else that it does. And it's going to get circulated around. And I've already seen it on Report and Aggregate and all this other kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'd put the Twitter question. I'd be interested to hear from people, Ryan, like, as a fan, do you care that he's out there blocking media members? And the thing is, I know the media can be made out to be villains in this town too. Somebody's tweeting Padone about it. I will tell you this, the media has nothing to do with the Browns' issues. Me and everybody else that's in the media, we want the Browns to be good. Mostly because a lot of us are Clevelanders, number one, and we're Browns fans, and number two, it's good for our business. The Browns being good is good for business for us. Nobody likes doing shows about we're 1-8 and don't have a quarterback. It's better. You listen, you watch, you consume more when the Browns are good. It's easier and better for us to do shows when they're good. Everybody wants the Browns to be good. And that's what I would say to Watts. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be critical. It doesn't mean that when you play poorly, which he has, and if he wants to start denying that, then we really have problems. And I'm not saying that he is, but if he can't handle that truth, insert Jack Nicholson. If he can't handle that, then I got bad news for you, man. It probably won't work here. Because if you just want people to have blind faith Kind of even like how I am this morning about the Browns turning it around. You're in the wrong town. Browns fans are smart for the most part. We know football. We know football. And here's the thing. Excuse me. Long segment here. There's a lot. There will always be this. I will tell Deshaun Watson this. And this was related back to, again, when I got in this business doing things. There will always be a group of people that love you. There will always be a group of people that hate you. And then there will be people in the middle. And in this job, it's different than playing quarterback because that's you got to go win games. But I was always told the bigger chunk of people that you can get in the middle, the better you're going to be. Again, there will always be people that hate, and there will always be people that love you. That with quarterbacks, that's how there are always going to be people that throw bouquets at Deshaun Watson. It's not really his fault, and that's fine. And there will always be people that can't stand him. That's fine. It's the middle part. It's the people that are truly in this to want the Browns to be successful, and to a point, they almost don't care who the players are. They just want their team to be successful. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Blocking media members, I mean, he's probably going to get asked about it. How could he not? And if he comes back with the somebody else, dude, I will tell you this, Ryan, and I'm assuming I can tell you right now. Well, no, today's Thursday. I don't believe. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's speaking. Usually I always spoke on Wednesdays. Hang on. Because for those that don't know, when the Browns do media availability every day, they send out a list that just says, select players. And then sometimes they'll tell us. Actually, they usually text us. Hang on. Okay, we don't know. And if he'll speak, he's going to get asked about it. And if he wants to say like, oh, then that's just, I don't think there's a good answer. If he comes out and he goes, oh, I just have a social media manager. And I go, so what's the point? The social media manager can't handle you seeing it? Is Deshaun Watson really tweeting stuff that the media is missing out on? It's a sign of weakness. I'm sorry. It is. It is. And I'm not saying that I haven't blocked people on Twitter, and there's people I can't stand on Twitter. And they're blocked for that reason. That's fine. But I don't understand it. Like, to a point where I'm really worried that, like, is it really getting to him? Is that really a point that it's getting to him, that he felt like he had to do that? Like I said, I wasn't really planning on bringing it up. I'm glad you brought it up, though, Ryan, but, like, all right, man, that's fine. Go ahead. And I'll say this to Watson, like I'll say it to a lot of people out there. The media has nothing to do with this. They wouldn't be any better if all of us, or if you're just a little more positive. That has nothing to do with it. It never has, and it never will. There are biased media members out there. Some don't hide that. That's fine. That's cool. There are some people out there, and bias on both parts. Bias where they just hate to hate, and there's people out there that are just going to throw bouquets all day long. And everybody else in between. Me, I'm a Browns fan. I want them to be good. So it's my hope, and that's my belief. And it's got me this far, just calling it like I see it. Calling it straight. And I ain't going to I guess I could technically swear on this, Ryan, but I just choose not to. I ain't going to BS you. I'm not going to do it. Because you don't want that. You're smarter than that. You know that. And I'm going to call it like I see it. And my call it like I see it is Deshaun Watson has played like crap. It doesn't mean that he can't improve. And frankly, I have a belief that he will. And you want to know why I have that belief? Because we have no other choice. He's here. He's our quarterback. Get it done, man. And if somehow blocking all these people on Twitter makes him feel better, then go for it. I don't care. I really, like, I care. Like, I don't care that he's blocking people. I don't. Do whatever you want. It's just, to me, it's an exercise in futility. That's where you're putting your effort in. And I'm sure that there are people that have the hot takes of, well, maybe he should be studying film instead of sitting there blocking. Oh, okay, fine. You want to go with that? That's fine too. But like, I don't understand it. I really don't. So I'm glad I brought it up. I wasn't really planning on it, but here we are. All right, let's do this. Let's catch a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Kareem Hunt. He rejoined the team yesterday. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski as well. So we'll get to that. We got the morning update coming as well. And maybe we'll do this in hour two because we're a little bit behind. ESPN put out a list of Jonathan Taylor landing spots. You would think the Browns would be crossed off that list. Oh, no. Not according to ESPN. And I'll tell you what they think, what the deal could be to get that done. We'll do it next. Fontana Show, Big Play, streaming live, iHeart app. I think we're back up on the iHeart app, Ryan. It sounded like we had maybe a little technical. Hey, at least people are listening for us to find that out. Appreciate it. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook as well. Apple Podcasts and Spotify, bigplay.com. We'll tell you more all about that when we return. Stay with us. It's really like he never left. Kareem Hunt back. What was he gone? They let him go in the offseason. He was gone from March until September. Well, pretty happy to have Kareem Hunt back. I re-signed with the Browns yesterday. We heard from Kareem. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski. It's all coming up right here. Matt Fontana Show, Big Play. Check us out. All the Big Play shows restreaming. We're on live as well. The iHeart app. Download it. Search Big Play. It's right there from us 9 to 11. Chico 12 to 2. And then all of our other shows. Drennan will now be on there. Bernie. The Return with Josh Maria Cribbs. Bobby Carpenter Show with Anthony Schlegel. Booby Show. Reflog. It's all there. iHeart app. Search Big Play. And check us out there for the live streams and also all the podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we welcome back to Kareem Hunt to town. It was kind of funny that he even mentioned, like, you know, I'm back home, like I'm right down the street from my house. And I think the deal, let's start there, because the deal was reportedly $4 million with incentives to get it up to $4 million. So that tells you, and Jack Duffin's going to join us tomorrow at 9:30 on the show, Jack, with a good tweet, and I agree with him. That's probably about a $2.5 million deal with incentives to take it up to the $4 million. That's backup running back money. And I tweeted that, and some people tried to like jump on it. Like, well, what do you mean? I go, that tells you they're not planning on him being the starting back. Now, could it go that way? Sure. Like, you start running with Jerome Ford, it's not quite what you thought it is. Well, okay, here's your insurance policy, or here's your blanket, security blanket. Ryan, when you were a baby, did you sleep with a blanket? Did you have a binky, or did you have a stuffed animal?
I had a little stuffed pig.
I had a stuffed animal. Yeah, I had a stuffed animal. Yeah. My son's got, I don't know why, he's getting used to the blanket. He's 2. He's getting used to the blanket and the pillow, but he's got a little stuffed puppy that he takes with him. So everybody needs their security blanket or their boppy or whatever you want to call it. So Kareem Hunt is that for Stump Mitchell and the Browns offense. So he's their security blanket, but that money tells me that they're going to give Jerome Ford a real shot at this. But also, so we'll get to this coming up in 10:15. I don't think that money stops you from maybe going to get another running back. And I don't think that money is something that you completely write off this Jonathan Taylor stuff. But we'll get to that coming up at 10:15. 4 potential landing spots for Jonathan Taylor from ESPN. Spoiler, Browns are on that list. But let's hear from Kareem Hunt. Because first up, he's back in Cleveland, a place where he thought he would be for a long time after he was traded here. He's back home, and here's Kareem talking about the goal has not changed of taking this team where we want to go.
It's quite exciting, I guess, because, I'm from Cleveland, born and raised, like I always say, and I still want to bring a championship here and help contribute. That was my biggest goal for the past 4 years, to do everything I can to, bring one to the hometown. So, it feels good. They have a great team. The team's great. Love the defense. Love the offense that we have. And, I'm excited to see us, put it all together and gel it together and, keep working to get to the end goal.
And that probably means a little more for him to be back in Cleveland. He said he had other deals that he could have signed with, but coming back here, again, easier for him. He knows the offense. We'll hear from Stefanski on that in a second, but it just seemed to be everything that fit for Kareem. Now, when he left here, the Browns said, we're good, move on. That's probably not an easy thing for anybody that's ever left a job before, when you are told basically your services are no longer needed here for one reason or another. We know it's a business. We know there's a professional side of it. And then there was those reports that the Browns felt like Kareem Hunt lost the step, or he wasn't the same player that he was in the past. So I love this question, and I think Scott Petrick asked it. Shout out to Scott. Love Scott. From the earlier Chronicle Telegram, Medina Gazette. And Scott asked Kareem Hunt, now that you're back, do you think there are any fences that need to be mended with anybody in the organization? Here's Kareem.
Like I said, we get along. I have mad respect for everybody in this building, and it was never to that point. So, it was good to see everybody, talk over, expectations and, things that I can help and just help this team win. I'm willing to come in and do whatever it takes just to, help win. My biggest thing is help win a Super Bowl.
And that sound courtesy of the Browns. That's maturity from Kareem Hunt to any nth degree, because, yeah, it'd be easy, but also understanding that he was a free agent. He was not in the NFL, and he mentioned, I always had confidence that he'd play somewhere, but it would be easy to be spiteful and not understand. And also, the Browns also had to swallow a little bit of that too, right? Because they could have been sticking to their guns going like, dude, this guy's washed, like he sucks, he's not very good. But what was the best for the team? The best option for the Cleveland Browns, from a cap standpoint, from a roster standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, was to bring in Kareem Hunt. Now, I guess on a sliding scale of best option, it might still be Jonathan Taylor. It might be trading Cam Akers, which, by the way, could have been had, it sounds like. So Cam Akers got moved yesterday after we brought him up a lot on the show, and he goes to Minnesota on a swap of conditional 7th-round picks in 3 years. I can't remember. Somebody tweeted. It might have been Tom Pelissaro. It might have been Mike Garafolo. In the NFL, you can't trade picks more than 3 years out. So this was the way that it was put was, when they say that this was the most minimal trade that could potentially happen in the NFL, this was the most minimal trade that could potentially happen in the NFL. Basically, the Rams go, we want nothing for Cam Akers, and the Vikings go, we're not going to give up anything for Cam Akers. They give up conditional 7s in 3 years just to get him out of there. So you could add Cam Akers. Again, what was the factor? Well, let's hear from Coach Stefanski. Coach spoke yesterday, and a question was asked to him, how big was the factor that Kareem Hunt knows this offense? Here's Coach Stefanski from yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal, Tom. I mean, as you know, when you add players that are free agents, oftentimes you have to ramp them up and get them ready to play. And we have done that. You can do that. In this case, there's obviously some newness that Kareem is learning, but he can pick up things very quickly. So that definitely factored into it.
Definitely factored in, coach speak. It was a big factor. And I'm saying maybe the biggest factor, but it was up there on that list. And it doesn't mean that Kareem can't play. Can I launch us into a stratosphere just like crazy harebrained for just a second?
It is your show, Matt.
Oh, thank you. It's our show, right? But thank you very much. They just needed Kareem Hunt, and maybe the biggest reason they signed Kareem Hunt was just that they needed somebody. They needed a body for the next couple of games. They'll reassess and then still potentially go make it. It sounds like I'm coming off as some loon trying to keep finding ways to get Jonathan Taylor here. But when I hear Coach say the biggest reason Kareem Hunt's here is he knows the offense, that doesn't mean, he's still a good running back. And when he's still, I'm not saying those things aren't true, but it's just, they just need somebody for right now. They probably watched that game Monday night and said, we can't get by with just Pierre Strong and Jerome Ford. Ford's still going to be the starter. He's still going to get the majority of the carries, but them bringing in Kareem Hunt kind of just, again, I can't help myself, Ryan, but to connect dots is they just needed somebody for now, and really, I don't think this has any bearing or impact on any future moves for the Browns. So I think the door is maybe still open for Jonathan Taylor. I don't know.
Yeah, and on yesterday's show, we mentioned we thought his market value might be around $7 million for 1 year, and they got him down to $4 million, and obviously,
maybe probably even less than that. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So like it was a clear backup salary. So we'll see.
And as a coach, you're gonna love that because here's a guy that, again, the offense probably has not changed much. They know the player as much as the player knows the offense. Don't forget that too. Any coach or general manager, they want a player that they know. They know Kareem Hunt. They know the good and the bad with Kareem Hunt. They know what he can do on the field and what he can't do, where he's really the best at. And trying to piece together, I'm sure that factor went a long way too. But we knew that. But to hear Stefanski say, that was a pretty big factor. Pretty big factor of knowing the offense. I think this is like anything. And also with the dollar amount, which is not very much. Here's a Band-Aid. Let's get through the next 2 games and we'll reassess at the bye. I truly think. And at the bye, you'll probably have a good idea of where this team is at and where they're going, too. And what you need to do on offense or what you need to fix. And I hope Deshaun Watson is playing better. I do. I hope he turns things around. I hope he's got it fixed and we're on the right track. But the Kareem Hunt thing is just, it's for a now move. Now, the question is he going to play Sunday? As Stefanski did say, there's 2 different types of in shape. There's working out in shape and there's football shape. Kareem Hunt hasn't been hit, and that's a good thing, right? He's not been hit through training camp. He hasn't accumulated that. So he might get out there Sunday. He's going to be pretty damn sore, I'm sure. But I would imagine they've got some snaps for him. Not a lot. Jerome Ford will be your bell cow. He'll get the majority of your carries. But I think they'll mix Kareem Hunt. At this point, if I was a betting man, which I am with Tipico, I would bet that Kareem Hunt's got at least 10 to 15 plays in him come Sunday. How impactful or what they are, I don't know. But I think he'll be ready to go for Sunday. But hearing Coach say, the offense had a lot to do with it. The familiarity had a lot to do with it. It just gives me a little interest on what the future might be. We'll get to that coming up at 10:15. We'll get to the morning update when we return. Crazy stories out of Chicago. Crazy story. Justin Fields throws his coaches under the bus, and then there's a coach that resigns out of nowhere, and then there's Twitter. We'll get to all that coming up with the morning update. Don't miss it, but you need bet credits for football season. Get ready to go. Big Play Network is presented by our friends at Tipico Sportsbook. So when you go to Tipico Sportsbook and you sign up with Big Play 150, you deposit 50, you get 150 in bet credits and a $30 dog pound bet. And here's what that bet is, because I was actually staring at it this morning, Ryan. And it's still in my account as a $30 NFL bet, good for a year. And like anything, I'm like, well, I want to cash this in. I want to put this on it for sure.
Do you want a lock, a future lock? It doesn't have to be Browns, does it?
No.
Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Parsons.
All right,
lock
okay, all right. I might be going something a little more in the immediate future. Okay. Maybe tonight on Thursday Night Football, because maybe I got a lock for that. But get signed up, folks. You can do the player props. Tell me how fun I know we're not be participating, but how fun the playoffs for baseball are going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. To be able to sit at home, to be able to put the live bets down there, player props, it's all there, folks. Tipico is the app. Download it. I love the interface. I even love the web app, like just going to the website. Like I'm on the website right now. It's super easy to use. It is super easy to use. Get signed up today with Big Play 150, and maybe our own show parlay will be showing up on Tipico tomorrow. You never know. Tipico, use the code BigPlay150. Get signed up for it. You have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER and check them out on Tipico. Morning update comes your way next. Got a lot of stories to get to. The FBI, a former player involved in raiding their own team's facility. Sounded fake. I think it is fake. Comes your way next. Fontana Show. It is 10:01 in the morning, as we always do. About 10 o'clock, we get you update on everything that's going around with the morning update. Take it away, Ryan.
Alrighty, first up for the morning update today. Alan Williams has resigned as the Chicago Bears defensive coordinator. He says, "I'm taking a step back to take care of my health and family." He continues to say, he values the NFL shield and all it stands for, but needs to take time to address his health, and he plans to come back again. However, the Bears released a statement. I'm sorry, not a statement. They called what is a classified personal reason for Alan Williams' departure. However, Twitter has some other theories, Matt.
Here's the weird thing. Okay, so this all started with a report, and I don't even know, a Twitter report. I don't think there's anybody that's like a credentialed media member or anything. And they came out with a story that Alan Williams' home was being raided by the FBI, that Hallis Hall, where the Bears practice and it's their team headquarters, was also getting raided by the FBI, and that former Chicago Bear cornerback Charles Peanut Tillman, who is currently an FBI agent, was the one involved with the raid and actually was one of the people to go tell the Bears that they were getting raided by the FBI. Does this not sound like too crazy of a story to believe? It does. Now, obviously, I wasn't there, and I don't know what the truth is. But this happens in organizations, and somebody tweeted me a gift from The Departed, and this is exactly where it's going. If you ever watched The Departed, great flick, Leo DiCaprio and plenty others, what do? They flush information. They flush bad information down to see where the leak is coming from. I've got a group of people here, and I've got secrets out the wazoo. And I've got Brian, and I've got Reflog, and I've got Chico, and I've got Nick, and I've got Dave. And I've got this group of everybody here. And I don't know who's leaking this stuff out. So you know what I do is I tell Ryan one thing, I tell Chico another thing, I tell Reflog another thing, I tell Dave another thing, and then I see what comes out in the news, and then I find out it was Chico the whole time. And then usually in the movie you get whacked, and that's how that goes, right? That's the first thing that I thought of, was that the Bears were going, let's see if we can flush out a leak here. And they sat down and they go, what's one of the craziest things that we can come up with? Oh, wait, we're getting raided by the FBI. How about that? And they flushed it out. And this reporter, it's not just the reporter, too, but now, if it is truly what was happening, somebody in the Bears organization about going to lose their job. Because you don't stick around if you're the loose lips sink ships. And in the NFL circle, you get found out to be somebody that runs stuff to the media, you don't keep a job very long. You just don't. So that was my initial reaction to it. Now, the other side of it is, I don't know, right? Maybe there is something going on. I don't know. Like, it's very weird that 2 games into a season, a defensive coordinator just resigns. And I understand that, he mentioned that there's a health issue, and the statement that Alan Williams put out, and also was also kind of said with, in conjunction with the Bears, was that he has a health issue that he needs to correct, and he sounded like again would be going back to, he wanted to get back into coaching. And it's not fair for any of us to sit here and speculate on what that is. That's his business and all that. But it is a little fishy. There is a little something that you pausing. Oh, wait a minute, what? And then you tie into the Justin Fields was ripping the coaches earlier and all that kind of. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird that just 2 games into a season, a defensive coordinator resigns. But that story about the FBI being raided, that just seems like. And then the Bears came straight out and they're like, no, we weren't raided by anybody. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know. And maybe it comes out tomorrow there was something really involved. Who knows? It's the era that we live in. People jump, and the guy even sent that out. The reporter goes, I'm not in this for likes and clicks and things like that. Okay, man. In this era, and it's the old journalistic thing, it's better to be right than first. Not anymore, man. You want to have that first tweet. You want to have the first breaking news thing. And unfortunately, sometimes cost people their jobs. I will tell you this: if you are new listening to this show, first off, welcome. Hi, thank you very much for spending some of your morning with us, wherever you are. But I'm not a newsbreaker. I am not a beat writer. I have some sources. I don't break news. I react to the news. We put on a fun show in the mornings. Talk about fencing and things of the sort. But that's it. I'm not in this. There are people that are. Not me. Because that's a whole game, right? That's a whole different ball game over there on that side of things, of breaking news and being in the know and knowing this and knowing that and hearing that. I hear a lot of rumors. I hear a lot of things. I know a lot of things. Not my job. So that, and the other thing too is whoever that reporter is, now people are looking at and go, what the hell's going on over here? What's going on over there? Will he ever? I don't know. Because the other thing is the repercussion that should have. I also truly believe that when you do that, when you put out a bogus story or something like that, again, it's like to fire the guy or things like that. Credibility has become a lost art in this business anymore, which is sad. But nonetheless, I don't think they got raided. I'll be interested to see where it goes from here. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe they really were. We'll see. Because the guy, of course, right, we have other stories to get to. I apologize. I keep cutting you off here. But what did the guy come out and say? I stand by my reporting. Of course you do. You have no other choice, man. Oh, I stand by what I was told. You ever think you were told a load of crap? Do you ever think for 2 seconds that you were fed a bunch of BS? And even the person that told you was fed BS, and they don't believe. It's the Seinfeld line. It's a lie if you truly believe it. What that person in the organization was told, they believed because they had no other choice. And it always comes back to what's the rule of thumb. You got to get two. You got to get two sources. You have to get two confirmations from it. I'd imagine that was probably not the case in this either, but we'll see.
Alrighty, well, Devontae Adams has some beef with Bills safety Taylor Rapp after he took a late hit in the Raiders' loss to the Bills. He says, was it unnecessary? Completely, obviously. He said, but certain players play a certain way too. He said, that's the kind of stuff that contributes to you not being on the field, and that's why you're in when you're blowing us out by 25 at the end of the game.
I mean, that's the hard part of we saw the Minkah Fitzpatrick thing like right up, as soon as that hit, and the questions are in the locker room, players know who the dirty players are. And they still exist. They're still out there. Linemen tripping, pinching guys on the bottom. And that there's different ways to play the game. Now, is it ever to the level that it was back in the day of, I never say dirty players, but there was the hits, the Ronnie Lotts, Rodney Harrison now came out straight up and was like, no, I was out there to hurt people. Like Rodney Harrison's a little bit different. But I don't think it's to that level anymore. Now that there's the social media, now that there's all this other kind of stuff, I'm shocked it doesn't happen more. I really do. I think it goes back to there is a brotherhood element to this where all the guys that play in the NFL, they are meant to kind of keep each other safe, and you try to think about that, but also you just know that there are guys out there you don't like. People forget that too, that even if they're on the same team, when people see camp fights or things like that, or even in the locker room, just because you're on the same team does not mean you have to like that guy. Whether where they went to school, a rivalry thing. As easy it is to say guys like Cedric Tillman and Dorian Thompson-Robinson are best of friends because they went to the same high school, it's easy to say that there's guys on the same team that can't stand each other. Even in the professional ranks, guy comes over from free agency, you've been playing against him for 4 years, you go, that guy's an a-hole. I hate him. Change of jersey. Jack Parkman. Doesn't change how you feel about the guy. So I'm shocked it really doesn't happen more when you have guys that are out there calling out guys saying, guy's cheap, I don't like him, whatever. But it adds a little fuel to the fire. I got to like it.
Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but as we know, yesterday, Cam Akers was traded to the Minnesota Vikings. And so the Vikings have an NFL low 69 rushing yards this season after 2 games. And as we know, the Vikings will play the Chargers this week. Both teams 0-2, both playoff teams last year. One of them's going to go 0-3.
Yeah, which is crazy. It could tie. No, I would think the Chargers are going to take that one. We'll see. The interesting thing about Cam Akers was, yes, a conditional 7, which was nothing. You could have got Cam Akers for about $1.3 million, which was even cheaper than what Kareem Hunt is. It goes back to what I continue to say. They got Kareem Hunt because he knew the offense, because they needed to get him in there now. Because to be honest with you for a second, as I usually am, I'd have rather had Cam Akers. Why? There's a little more intrigue there. A little more tread on those tires. He's a younger guy. He's still on the rookie deal. And no matter what, you were looking at 2 guys in Kareem Hunt and Cam Akers that were getting 1-year deals. Cam Akers would have been cheaper, but Kareem Hunt knows the offense, and you know him a little bit more. I got to say, when I saw that deal, I was shocked the Browns didn't make that move. Because, yeah, you bring in Cam Akers, there's no chance he plays this weekend because he didn't know the offense. But conversely, is there a real good chance Kareem Hunt is going to play this weekend because he just hasn't played? At least Cam Akers is in football shape. At least he's played a little bit. And I would have just thought on a younger 24-year-old type of back, like, I guess that's why I'm not making decisions for the Browns. And I will say that I'm happy that Kareem Hunt is here. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Kareem Hunt is here. I'd have probably traded for Cam Akers, but that's just me.
Alrighty. Well, I was on Twitter yesterday, and I saw a super, super cool camera angle for the NFL, a little Bijan Robinson run. And I was wondering if we can get more of this. Check it out.
Let's watch it. So this is afforded. Damn, he's so good.
Yeah, that cutback was a little...
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. And That one too, right there, is just, it gives you a new perspective. Like when, and I don't know if many people out there have had the opportunity to ever be on the field to watch a game, like not even the first row, but like to be on the field for Ohio State, for even Division I major college football or anything. Dude, these guys move so fast. TV does not ever do it justice on how fast and strong the top level athletes of football in the NFL or Division I football. It's insane. That all being said, they're afforded that because they have the dome, right? So they literally had somebody up in the rafters of the dome pointing down. I think these camera angles are awesome. You're not going to be able to get that all the time for now. Because when you brought it up, Ryan, you know the first thing that I thought of?
What's that, Matt?
And what the future of the NFL will be? Drones. It'll be there. They have the sky cam, and they've always had the sky cam. But what the sky cam usually is that standard, behind the quarterback type shot. Because what they can't have happen is the ball hit the sky cam or hit the cables that are on the sky cam. With a drone, you could put a drone however high up and just put a zoomed camera down. You could have 4 or 5 of those things whirling around the stadium. God help you if one of the batteries comes falling out or something, it just comes crashing down. I'm sure that's like a battle they're having. But the future is it'll be the drones. They do that, oh God. What am I trying to think of?
Fencing?
No, not in fencing. On guard. Am I thinking of Formula One? I don't know. There's some sport that they really have introduced. Hit me in the Twitter inbox if you know what I'm talking about. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I can't think about it. But there's they're right up in it, and I think that's the future. So I think angles like that will become more popular, even outdoor games.
Last bit of news here this morning. Lionel Messi was substituted due to muscle fatigue in the 37th minute of Inter Miami's 4-0 win over Toronto FC. The coach said, I don't know why you're laughing. There's no chance they will be there on Sunday.
Tell you what I'm laughing.
I know we have a final to play next Wednesday, but they won't go near the pitch if they can't play. So I'm wondering how this affects ticket buyers who were planning on going. Did I say his name wrong or something?
No, I'm laughing on something completely different. I'll tell you what it is.
Well, how does this affect people that bought very, very expensive tickets?
The reason I'm laughing is Adam Silver about had a heart attack, and it has nothing to do with basketball. He goes, wait a minute, a star player's sitting out. No! Oh, my God. Giving Adam Silver a heart attack, and little Messi doesn't even play basketball. He's just so ingrained of watching star players not sit out that even when it happens in another sport. Did Adam Silver call the MLS commissioner and be like, I'm really thinking about you in this hard time. I'm saying a prayer for you in this hard time.
Just like tennis.
Could you imagine if that happened in basketball? Silver would have a heart attack, and they would fine that team $1 bajillion.
Yeah, no kidding. But I want to.
That's what I was laughing. That's what
tennis.
I thought about.
Just like we were talking about tennis, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about soccer, but I need to know because I hear this debate every time I see soccer on my Twitter.
Best.
Is it Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi. I don't know nothing about soccer either very much, but Messi, hands down, is the best player.
Okay.
The issue here is that Messi, and I don't say this hyperbole, he's one of the biggest things to ever happen to sports in the United States. Like, for him, even in the twilight of his career, to have the best player. I think people say that no matter what. Like, even with Pele, Lionel Messi is the best soccer player in history. Then you take a step back to understand that soccer is the most popular sport in the entire world. We're a little jaded here in America because we have football, we have basketball. Make no mistake that soccer is hands down the most popular sport in the world. And you have the best player to ever do that. And he came here. And people would always equate it, be like, oh, if LeBron went to go play in the Chinese basketball league, because American soccer is nothing. We are laughed at compared to the Premier League and all that other kind of stuff. But when you have something like that, and you see, have you ever seen the lists of the people that go to watch Messi? One of them came out, and it's like, Will Ferrell and Will Smith and Rage Against the Machine was there, and Prince Harry was there,
Bad
and
Bunny.
Meghan Markle, Bad Bunny, everybody. I mean, you talk about the list of lists where it has become not just going to a soccer match to watch, it's a status symbol to say that you were there and watched. So that explosion has been crazy. But then you inevitably get to what is happening. He's going to have to sit out games. And then you go back to why I joked about Adam Silver. The NBA freaks out because of the fans. And you paid ticket. And imagine Messi, who is just one, not a league of players, but one guy that is traveling to a point, but there's only so much left in the season. There's only so many places to go. Yeah, man, that pressure. And that sucks. And it's not even something like he is sitting out just because, like, I'm Googling this quick. What's Lionel Messi? How old is he? I'm going to guess 36.
I'm going to guess 35.
36. He's 36 years old.
Damn it.
Sorry. That was just a guess. Oh, his birthday's one day after mine. How about that? Funny story. He's 2 years and 1 day older than me. But he's going to have to take time, right? His legs get sore. He gets all... And then you start to file in, is he not then getting ready to go play in the World Cup too? Doesn't he have some international matches that he has to come up to?
Yeah, wasn't the one, and I could be wrong in this, but the one knock is he never won it with Argentina, and then he finally did?
Yeah, when they did. You're right.
So was he the GOAT pre that, or was that the final clincher?
I think it was probably the final clincher, but everybody would tell you that like he's the best because he's won the Ballon d'Or. Is that what it's called? The Ballon d'Or is basically the MVP. It's the best of all time. He's won 7. So here's Ballon d'Or is the annual football award presented by the French news magazine and emerged with the FIFA temporarily to say the world's best player. So it's widely known as the European Footballer of the Year. Okay, whatever. So coaches and captains of national teams were given the right to vote. So whatever. He's got 7. Cristiano Ronaldo holds the record with 18 nominations, but Lionel Messi has won 7. Cristiano Ronaldo has won 5. So if you're looking at just from this, sounds like the MVP of all time. That's kind of where it breaks down from there. But regardless, he's a star. He's the best thing going, and it's unfortunate he's got to miss some games. I think there is a way that the MLS could try to find a way to like give a heads up, like he might not play in this game, but the teams are going, we still need ticket sales. I don't know. It's just, unfortunately, it's kind of the roll of the dice. It is what it is. All right, let's talk Jonathan Taylor. We'll skip our break for this hour. It's not like the bosses are standing right out there. I'll tell you about Tipico. Tipico's the best. Big Play at 150. Get signed up today. Get all your boosts. Get your lot. Tonight, we got it locked. For Thursday Night Football, get to Tipico. Use the code BigPlay150 to get your bonus bets. We'll bet it on for tonight. But Kareem Hunt, you would think, has instantly removed the Browns from possibility to trade for Jonathan Taylor. Oh, no. Not says Stephen Holder and ESPN's NFL Analytics. So they put an article out this morning. The 5 trade offers for Jonathan Taylor that should happen and the best fit. They put the Steelers on that list. They put the Chiefs. They put the Dolphins. And they put the Cleveland Browns. Let's start with the Browns. Dan Graziano came up with the offer for the Cleveland Browns to get Jonathan Taylor. That offer, the 2024 second-round pick straight up for Jonathan Taylor. The write-up. The Browns unfortunately have a serious need after they lose Nick Chubb to the season-ending injury on Monday night. Their identity is the run game. Their quarterback looks so bad there aren't many backs with character and skill set to replace everything Chubb gives. They signed Kareem Hunt on Wednesday, but there's still a reason he was a free agent this late into the offseason. Trading for Taylor would likely mean Hunt would go back on the market. It's possible, considering they probably only owe him about $1.5 million. The the write-up on the Colts side. The Colts get back the same pick that they took with Taylor in 2020, and now they're rid of an ugly situation. From a cap situation, the Browns still owe Nick Chubb nearly $12 million in non-guaranteed salary, by the way, for next season. So the situation could get complicated if Taylor requires a new contract in order to play for them. Chubb's future is somewhat in the air at the moment, and the Browns do have the cap space to dump a whole bunch of money into this year if they needed to do so to get a deal done for Jonathan Taylor. Said that yesterday. If they're still truly interested in going to get Jonathan Taylor, you front load a deal and you say this is in essence a 1-year deal, $14-15 million. You get fat on that and go sign somewhere else. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor would do that, but I think it'd be intriguing enough. But you're also then giving up a second-round pick, and you would not have a pick in rounds 1, 2, or 3 in next year's draft, which is a scary proposition. Everything that goes into that, and I'm going to read the other deals that they have here for Jonathan Taylor. I said a second-round pick next year, if that gets it done, that's fine. My hesitancy in trading for Jonathan Taylor is if they really are holding out that they want a first-round pick, which you would not have until 2025. And at that point, I'm not doing it because the Browns can't afford to give up a first-round pick because you don't know if Deshaun Watson's your franchise quarterback. And dare I say, in a couple of years, we might need to use that pick on a quarterback. And I hate thinking that way, but I'm sorry, that's where we're at. So if you gave up a 2 for it, Andrew Berry would hate that because you have no picks in the first 3 rounds. It's like the year after we got Brady Quinn. We're not drafting until the 4th round. You try to come back with this team is pretty built, and especially if you win Jonathan, whatever, fine. I think you will have the answer to that question after 2 games. Because as we know, Jonathan Taylor's still on the PUP list. He can't play for the next 2 games anyway. You will see what this offense looks like. And you will see if you really need to go get Jonathan Taylor. Now, here's the problem, Ryan. If things go bad for the Browns offense over the next 2 games, you might pack it in anyway. And you might say this season is screwed. And you're not trading for anybody. I think the perfect case scenario would be that the Browns win one of their next 2 games, maybe against the Titans, and you play a close game against the Ravens. You go to the bye at 2-2, and it is clear and obvious that you need an upgrade at the running back position. Then I think the Browns would try to pull the trigger on the Jonathan Taylor trade.
If in a scenario, God forbid, okay, the Browns lose to Tennessee, which is I think
possible.
Unlikely. It's possible, right? And then you lose to Baltimore, and then is it San Fran?
Well, after the bye, yes, I believe so.
So imagine that. You go what? So you'd be 1-4 at that point? Tank for Marvin Harrison.
There are at least 3 home games. Titans, Ravens, 49ers.
Could you imagine Marvin Harrison in a Browns uniform?
Well, I mean, but the problem is that then everybody's getting fired.
Yeah, no, they would never do it. But
Kevin Stefanski's getting fired. It comes back to the old adage, too, about trading away picks that somebody else will make. Like, a lot of GMs get hung up on trading away future picks, and the instant comeback is you might not even be here to make those picks.
I'm tripping. Yeah, we don't even have a pick.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a... Well, yeah, that's right. We don't have a first-round pick. You're right. Sorry. You ain't getting Marvin Harrison, man. Sorry. You ain't getting Marvin Harrison. Not happening. Unless it just completely blows up and you hit the full reset button and you trade. But that's... I mean, even my thing about the Jonathan Taylor, if you try to trade away to 2 for Jonathan Taylor, if that's really the realm that you're living in, you could come back and say, I'm trading away that pick because I might not even be here to make that pick. I believe Andrew Berry is on firmer footing than Kevin Stefanski, which sucks again, but it's here we are. I don't know. And then the ultimate comeback is this the cure-all for this offense? They're not doing anything unless Deshaun Watson gets better. Literally. They're not doing anything on the trade market for Deshaun or for Jonathan Taylor, and they're certain as hell not doing anything on the football field unless Deshaun Watson gets better. Maybe that's why he blocked everybody on the media side of things. He was sick of hearing that there's pressure on him. I don't know why we need to be the ones to tell him that. He is $230 million franchise quarterback. Bro, it's on you. It is on you. I don't care that Kareem Hunt is here. I don't really care that Nick Chubb is hurt. I don't even care his defense is playing out their ass right. You have got to get better. You know that. You have said that. I don't understand why it's such a big issue for you. You have got to play better. And if you want to start playing these games of blocking people on social media, all right, go ahead, man. Go ahead. We'll all be here as Browns fans as doing this job long after you're gone. And you could have a 10-year career here and do great things, and I hope you do. I truly hope you do. But you got to start showing us something. Please. The rust is not a thing anymore. And if you can't handle that pressure, then we're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. This is all, in a way, fodder. These are all things that we try to, one of the easiest things in life is when you have a problem and there is one solution to that problem, right? How often does that actually happen? Very rare, right? You blew your tire out. Well, the fix is you put a new tire on your car. That's not how the Browns offense looks right now. That's not how things are. There are multiple ways to fix that problem, but it has to start with your quarterback. It has to start with your quarterback, let alone the money that he's given. You know what? I'm going to make an edict, Ryan, for at least the rest of the show. I don't know how much longer in the future I can hold out, but for at least the rest of the show, I'm not mentioning money. I am not going to mention the deal that he signed. That's fine. It starts with your quarterback. It always has and always will in the NFL. And it's even if your quarterback isn't good, then it starts with your quarterback isn't very good. We got to run the football or find a different way to win. It's like that flow chart. You ever see one of those flow charts where it's like the answer is yes and you go this way. If the answer is no, you go this way. First question, is your quarterback good? Yes. Next step, are they playing well? No. How can they turn things around? Play better. Yes. And then you all of a sudden come out the outs. That's how you got to go. You want to go down the side of your quarterback is not very good, then that goes to, all right, we got to trick up an offense. We got to run reverses and trick plays or run the hell out of the football. The only answer for the Cleveland Browns right now is to have Deshaun Watson play better. How you get there, I don't know. Not my job. They got a couple $1 million to throw at me. I'll make it my job and I'll figure something out. But I don't have the time right now. Figure it out. Figure it out. With all this other stuff looming, the Jonathan Taylor trade, and you bring in Kareem Hunt, you got all this other stuff. None of that actually matters until Deshaun Watson starts playing better. And if he doesn't, it's a scary world.
Matt, should I throw $100 on Deshaun Watson plus $5,000 to win MVP?
No. No.
Can you tell? I did not realize this. The two front runners right now, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Tua. I get he's kind of been playing out of his mind, but wow, I didn't expect
Trevor
that.
Lawrence, is he still up there?
Trevor Lawrence is fifth plus 1,200.
Wait, who's the other guy?
So Trevor Lawrence is fifth plus 1,200. Jalen Hurts is fourth plus 1,000. Josh Allen plus 1,000. And then Patty and Tua round out the
Patty.
favorites.
Okay, yeah, Patty. Okay, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. No, because the NFL will do everything in their power to never let Deshaun Watson win any MVP or comeback player of the year or anything like that. That's not happening. He could have the greatest season ever known to man. They'll come up with some excuse and I give it to him. Like, they will do everything that they can to not let him win an award just for everything that had happened. All right, when we come back, we'll dive into Time Hop. We'll head back and tell you a little bit in history, including a very big day for the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's get to the... I'm sorry. I had the other trades for Jonathan Taylor. Let's do that real quick. So, again, this was from ESPN. 5 potential landing spots or 5 potential trades for Jonathan Taylor. First up, Browns, second-round pick. We get him. Kansas City, 2 threes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Jonathan Taylor. Ryan, I want you to play GM of the Colts. I'm going to give you all these picks. You tell me which one you want, okay?
Can you? So that's you said two-thirds?
Yes, I'll do them all again. I'll run through them all again for you. All right, next up, Pittsburgh, a 4th and Najee Harris. Miami, a conditional 2 that could become a 1. Or Miami, a second-round pick and Javon Holland, their safety. So, again, I'll start at the top. The Browns, second-round pick. That's it. The Chiefs, 2 threes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Steelers, a 4th and Najee Harris. Miami, a conditional 2 that becomes a 1. Or a 2 and Javon Holland, safety. If you had to pick,
what was that one before Javon Holland?
Just a conditional 2 that could become a 1. I'm assuming based on...
And that's with what team? I'm sorry.
Dolphins. So you'd be trading him still in the AFC. Be a different division, though. These are all AFC teams, by the way. I should mention that. They're all AFC. So your 2 Dolphins ones, a conditional 2 that becomes a 1, and that would be based on if they make the AFC Championship game.
Okay, so my initial thought right there, the one that stuck out to me that I would, and none of them are like so, really want, but I would say the Pittsburgh one because you get the 4th round
I got to
pick,
take on the pick. Go ahead.
and then you get Najee Harris, right?
They don't want Najee Harris.
And I understand that, and from what I've seen is I don't really want him either, but there's hope. Okay, 1st round talent. We saw his rookie year; he could be great. Put him in behind the Colts O line is such a big upgrade from the Steelers because I think the Steelers O line is so bad as we've seen.
They might just want to roll with Isaiah Pacheco though. That's my thing. Is I don't.
The Colts run with Pacheco.
Oh no! I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Oh no! I'm talking about the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'm sorry. In getting Najee Harris back. Here's gonna be my point. I don't think the Chiefs want a running back in return. So that's why I'm taking out Najee Harris. Like, I don't think they need him in that. And the same thing with the... Oh, I'm confusing the 2 teams here. I'm an idiot. The same thing... I've just confused everybody, including myself. Here's what I meant to say. I don't think the Chiefs are interested... Or, I'm sorry. It's too many running backs. I don't think... I'm confusing the teams, and my take is now valid. I thought the Chiefs somehow owned Jonathan Taylor, and they were trading away. No. Take all that back. Yeah, every one of these trades works. Forget everything that I just said. Because the Colts have Jonathan Taylor, not the Chiefs. And I was like, why would they want a running back in return? They just turned over to Pacheco. Sorry, all these trades make a lot more sense now to me. Hi. Continue on, Ryan. No, I would if I was doing all of these, because I got into the mold that the Chiefs were getting a running back and they're not. The Colts are getting a running back and they need it. So yeah, the Steelers. If you're the Colts, you would want Najee Harris, right? Because he would be good. If you're the Colts, you would want Clyde Edwards-Helaire and all these. I got so confused there for a second, as you can tell. Yeah, so I guess to your point, you're right. I would say that maybe the Chiefs and the Colts the Chiefs and the Steelers make the most sense here because you'd be getting a running back in return. So I would actually probably go with the Chiefs offer. 2 3s and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I take that. I do that.
I'm just I'm not a big Clyde fan, but
fair enough.
I just think Najee has more potential if we see him behind a better O-line. But that being said, he has looked horrible. Jaylen Warren has so far looked like the better back. And a lot of people in the offseason said that was a possibility, and it's kind of coming to fruition.
Yep. All right, we come back. We'll unconfuse everybody. We'll do a little bit of time hop. We'll jump into that, including a big day, massive day in NFL history. I'll tell you what it is when we return. let's head on back. You said you were going to bring this picture up, Ryan, as a part of
It
Time
wasn't
Hop.
supposed to be up
All
there
right,
yet.
we're going to bring that up in a minute. So we'll do Time Hop. We always head back this day in history, 21st of September. I've got some things in sports. I've got some TV shows, some movies we'll get to, and, of course, birthdays. As always, let's rock. We go back 4 years ago today, Ohio State beating Miami 76-6. No, not that Miami, the other Miami. Justin Fields threw 4 touchdowns. Number 6, Ohio State took down Miami of Ohio 76-6. Enjoy your money. Thanks for coming. This day, 2014, Cleveland Browns taking on the Baltimore Ravens. And it did not go the Browns' way this day, 2014. We fall 23-21. This was the third game of the season. Brian Hoyer actually threw for 290 yards and a touchdown. Got beat by Joe Flacco. Lorenzo Talafiero had a touchdown on 91 yards rushing. Isaiah Crowell and Terrence West both had a touchdown. I don't know how we lost this game. 2 touchdowns on the ground. Hoyer threw for 1.
Did you see the Jets game last season?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what it is. Dante Whitner was the leading tackler for the Browns this day, 2014, as they fell to the Ravens. This day, 2008, it was the last game ever played at Old Yankee Stadium. The Yankees did beat the Orioles 7-3. Of course, it was demolished. Now the new Yankee Stadium's across the way. Never went to it, never saw it. I don't know. It is what it is. Don't really care. I always thought about it because they do this sometimes with turf. So I have a piece of Ohio State turf. I bought it for my wife. She's a graduate of Ohio State. When they replaced the turf years ago, you could go online, $80 a pop to get a little square of the turf. I bought it. I gave it to her. I was like, here, that you walked across this to graduate, like whatever. So they pay for the turf umpteen over when they do that. I thought about that when they demoed like Old Yankee Stadium. If they just said, we're going to sell like rubble, like pieces of the stadium, they could make $1 billion from psycho Yankees fans.
It'd be cool if they were selling like the seats, like a
I'm
section
sure
of
they
seats,
did.
yeah.
I'm sure there's a point where there's some of those are in Cooperstown or and that's always something that I've said about some of these bigger teams. Like the Yankees probably make more money off their logo and their hats than the Guardians make all season long from tickets and from hot dogs and all that kind of crap. They just play a different type of game. But the final game at Old Yankee Stadium this day, 2008. Do you think they'll ever tear down Wrigley or Fenway? They need to.
I mean,
they need to.
I think
so
they will
badly.
eventually, as they do kind of all things that are past their time.
I mean, everybody says they just do these massive renovations over and over and over and over and over again, and it's never really the same. And so I've been to Fenway. I took a tour of Fenway when my wife and I went to Boston a couple years ago. And my brother and sister-in-law lived in Chicago for a long time. So we'd go visit them, and they were near Wrigley. So we'd go there, and bro, it was just like to a point of putting lipstick on a pig because you just know that there's only so many upgrades you can need. But even just talking to people, they go, there's only so much room. They don't even have room to put in like updated HVAC stuff, like to put in internet, like all this stuff. The press boxes sucked. It was just so cramped and tight. Eventually, yeah, they need to demo it and redo it. But that would be my thing. If you tore down Yankee Stadium, there ain't nothing sacred anymore. I know it's Wrigley and I know it's Fenway. Tear it down, redo it, but we'll have to see. This day, 1991, the Dream Team was announced for the Olympics that year. How Christian Laettner made that team, I don't know. This day, 1987. Ryan, did you ever play the Where's Waldo books?
I loved Where's Waldo.
Well, you should celebrate this day. It was debuted, first published, Where's Waldo, this day, 1987. There's that.
They're not still making those, are they?
They have to be. How could they not?
I might have to get one.
Because then there's like those TikTok a-holes that are out there and they take it and then they Photoshop Waldo out and then they put him in the book and they return the book to the library. You people, they throw those people and they need to be in jail. I'd send those people to Guantanamo Bay if I could. Just watching the world burn. Innocent kids sitting there all day looking for Waldo and you Photoshop them out of the book. A-holes is what you are. I mentioned a big day in sports history. It's also a pretty big day for the Browns because they were a part of this. That this day, 1970, Ryan, first ever Monday Night Football game. Browns-Jets. It's an honorable thing. That's probably the only reason that people really considered Art Modell for the Hall of Fame. As vilified as he is in this town and as much as he sucks, he helped you bring Monday Night Football. It helped bring you to TV, and it helped give you the money and the reason that we're watching Thursday Night Football tonight. In part because of Art Modell. Talk about a transition from one villain to another. Benedict Arnold committed treason this day, 1780. I didn't even mean to set it up.
Damn
that way.
Benedict.
I didn't even mean to set it up that way.
I hate that dude.
To go from Arm O'Dell to Benedict Arnold.
I think about him every night I go to bed.
Oh, really? It's something to be said that you did something that your name is just infamous with being a treasonous traitor jerk. This day, 1780, Benedict Arnold committed treason. He met with British troops to discuss turning over West Point for a large sum of money and a spot in the British Army.
Those damn redcoats.
Obviously, we kicked their ass. Hell yeah, brother, take that. Took him down. He then, he actually, so here's a bit of a shocking thing. He was not sentenced to death for it. So this all came out, whatever. He actually passed away from gout in 1801. I don't know. He had a physical diagnosis. He died of 4 days. It's funny to hear old school like medical terms. He died after 4 days of delirium in 1801 at the age of 60. So he was not put to death for being a treasonous traitor, but it is what it is. This day, 1780. Birthdays go out to former Indians pitcher Sudden Sam McDowell, legendary NASCAR owner Richard Childress, Steve Hyden. Do you know that Steve Hyden is my favorite Cleveland Brown of all time? Happy birthday, Steve Hyden. I hope he's watching this. I might put that on you, Ryan. Have Steve Hyden on the show.
We'll clip it and send it to him.
Send it to him. He is my favorite Browns player of all time. He's the only Browns jersey that I own. My wife made me a custom, because you can't really buy those, custom Steve Hyden jersey. People always say, why? I'm like, well, I played tight end in high school and in college. And when I was a kid, the second game my dad ever took me to, because the first game my dad ever took me to, quick story. So my dad, growing up as a Cleveland Browns fan, so my dad took my brother and I to a preseason game in 1999. That wasn't a real season game, but it was a preseason game. My dad, like many local 55ers, shout out to Plummer Local 55, my dad worked on the stadium. He put the sprinklers in at the stadium, the original stadium. He put the sprinklers in, amongst many other things. So a preseason game, so he took my brother and I, my next brother in line, Chris and I, to like a preseason game we watched around the school, but he wanted to take us to a regular season game. So the first regular season game that I ever went to was Browns. It was Steelers. And I remember my dad said, we're going to park in the Muni lot. And I want, give you this, the essence of what it feels like to be in the Muni lot. We didn't tailgate or anything, but we showed up, get out of the truck. We're walk into the game. And we're in the dog pound, upper end of the dog pound. And again, I'm seeing people, Browns, Steelers, and they're cussing and they're MFing and there's all that kind of stuff. And I'm a little kid. I don't know. I was like 10, 12, something like that watching. I'm like, all right, this is cool. So we get up to our seats and we sit down. And this is, I don't know, 45 minutes before the game or something like that. And somebody yells, fight. So we turn around and look up the stands and they go, no, on the field. It was the William Green, Joey Porter fight. That was the first game I ever went to. Referee, they break him up. Ref comes out, and before they even kick off, he throws the flag. He's like, personal foul number 31, personal foul number 55. Both players have been ejected. So that was the first game I ever went to. And then on the way out, we lose, of course. And we're on the walk out, and I'm walking with my dad. And I don't think I ever told my mom this story, but it is what it is. And we're walking, and there's a Steelers fan in front of me, and he is just, you guys, oh yeah, take that. I'll never forget. He's in a Steelers polo, which I thought was weird. I felt a guy brush past my shoulder, and Ryan just cold clocked him from behind. My dad just goes, we're going to walk over here. Huge fight. We walk back to the truck. He's like, don't tell your mom. So that's my first game that I ever went to. Browns Steelers really got initiated on that. I know we were talking about fights and unfortunately that person passing away at Gillette, but that was my first memory. So now my second game I ever went to, Browns Bengals, Steve Hyden caught a pass in the flat and he truck sticked some Bengal to hell. And ever since then, I've been a Steve Hyden fan. So that's long-winded story to tell you why I'm a Steve Hyden fan. So very happy birthday to him. Former Browns center Hank Fraley, man, did this guy steal some money. Dwayne Bowe celebrating a birthday today. What a list here. Bill Murray, favorite Bill Murray movie? Ghostbusters, Caddyshack, Stripes, Groundhog's Day. Ghostbusters is
There's
my answer.
so many.
He's
I would say Caddyshack.
Caddyshack is probably my favorite movie of those, but as far as Bill Murray roles, Pete Venkman, untouched. The legend, Mr. Stephen King. I don't read any of his books. I watch his movies, though, which are pretty good. Cujo.
Pet Cemetery.
Good, very good. The Shining has been on a lot lately. I don't know why, but it's just been on. That would probably be it for me. Like, of all of Stephen King's books, or I'm sorry, of movies that became Pet Cemetery, The Shining, It. So good. So good. I'm trying to think of all the... Oh, list of adaptation works. That's what I was looking for, because those were just ones that he was a part of. Like, actually, like...
Is there a Carrie movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hip.
Yeah. Children of the Corn. So Carrie was actually the first one that ever got done in 76. Then, Carrie, Shining, Cujo, Christine, Children of the Corn, The Graveyard Shift. So, oh my gosh, that's right. And Shawshank Redemption. Because Shawshank Redemption was based on the novel that he wrote. So good. Yeah, again, the miniseries, but then the movies that came out later. The best. So very happy birthday to Stephen King.
Fun fact, IMDb has Shawshank Redemption as the #1 movie of all time.
I believe that. I very much believe that. Jerry Bruckheimer, Jason Derulo, Alfonso Ribeiro, a.k.a. Carlton, celebrating a birthday, and actor Luke Wilson. All right, so you said you had a picture that you wanted me to guess on?
I do.
All right, everybody look at the screen here.
I want you to tell me, who is this man? This picture was taken in 1980.
1980. So I'm assuming at that point, that was 40 years ago.
So this is a big, big guy in football.
It looks a little like Nick Saban.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's Nick Saban.
Yeah, nice job.
1981.
Nice. It just in the eyes. Can you pull it back up real quick?
Yeah.
Just like a little in the eye. Like it kind of, yeah, there you go. All right, look at Nick.
A little bit more hair for him there.
Well done. A little bit, but nice job, Nick Saban. All right, well done. All right, we got to catch a break, because when we come back, we're going to get our final bets in. Do you want a break, Ryan? Do we need a break?
Up to you.
All right, we're not breaking. Screw it. Tipico, here we go. Bet 150. Use your code Big Play 150 is to get your bet credits at Tipico. When the show ends, you'll see that QR code. Get signed up. Need bet credits for football season? The Big Play Network is presented by Tipico Sportsbook. Tipico Sportsbook app has your traditional bets like money line, spread, point totals. You know where I'm at, though. I love the alternates. I love jumping in on a little alternate action if I can. I love being able to jump in on same game parlay. You can do all of it with our friends at Tipico. For tonight, what do we got? All right. Big play. Ooh. So our boost for Thursday night, we have several boosts for tonight.
It's a big boost.
Number one, Paris they call this the Big Play Primetime Buckeyes. So this is from us here at Big Play. Paris Campbell to score a touchdown and Nick Bosa to record a sack plus 900. Now, I say this. Who else is going to score touchdowns for the Giants? Saquon Barkley's out. Nick Bosa will record a sack. So you are, in essence, playing a game here of just Paris Campbell scoring a touchdown.
The real question is, are the Giants going to score a touchdown?
That's fair enough. Also, tonight, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. All three of those guys to just score 3 touchdowns. So Ayuk could score 3 touchdowns himself again and to get it done. That is plus 170. And then tonight, another one, the 49ers to score in every quarter, record 150 rushing yards, and win by 15 points. That is boosted to plus 490. And the game to go to overtime tonight is boosted to plus 1,800. Daniel Jones, 20-plus passing completions. So 20-plus completions, 200 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is boosted to plus 400. Those are all our boosts tonight on Tipico that you can get. We're going to have our boost for this weekend coming up, and we'll have a couple boosts for the Browns as well. Ryan, my easy money for tonight is the under. You know me and the under. On Thursday Night Football, I play that anyway. Just short week. All this craziness. It's moved 1.5 points. It's down to 44. I still like the under. I just question if the Giants are going to be able to score. And then I also look at it, some of the stats that I was looking at about this game coming up. How much do you know Christian McCaffrey's been on the field for 97% of the offensive plays for the 49ers?
I believe it.
That is insane. I think they'll try to work that back. This could be a game that the 49ers get out to a big lead and just kind of coast. 44 is a lot for me. I'm taking the under. It is a 10.5-point spread. I don't know if I really like either play on the spread there.
Yeah, I'm on that. It is a big spread, but I would lean 49ers to cover if I had to pick one. But yeah, it's a big spread. I don't really like to mess around when it's that big. But if I had to, I'd say 49ers will cover.
Giants have hit their team over in 15 of their last 22 games. They've scored in 12 of their last 19 games as well. The money line, that's not great. So again, everything is leaning towards San Francisco, obviously, to get this win tonight. And I think the under is the play. We'll see. Let's see here. What else we got?
Matt, my lock for this.
Yeah,
Brock,
please.
It's minus 115. Brock Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Okay, I like that. McCaffrey is an anytime touchdown score is minus 245. Like that's you get here's what you do. If you like McCaffrey, I kind of like this. This is a quick same game parlay that is on Tipico. Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown score, 49ers money line minus 169. It's not great at minus 169, but I'll put a little 15 spot on that. I'm in. I like that. And same game parlay. McCaffrey to score anytime in the 49ers money line.
Matt, did you know that Brock Purdy is better than Patrick Mahomes?
In what regard?
I'm just messing around, but look at no, that's a sad Browns meme. We're gonna put that away.
Yeah,
Wrong
put
picture.
that
Look at this stat. And obviously, I'm messing around, but through their first 7 career games, Brock Purdy 7-0, Mahomes was 6-1. Purdy 13-2 touchdown to pick rate, Mahomes 18-5. Brock Purdy edges out in completion percentage and passer rating.
I guess he's better then. I think this game is winnable just from the standpoint of it's Kyle Shanahan. Like, yeah, I just it's a short week. A lot of times on the short weeks too, you really the short weeks always lend to the under and the dog. But in this scenario, and if you want to take them plus 10.5 as far as New York, sure, I could understand that. But I'm just taking the under tonight. I think it's a short week. I don't think the Giants have a lot going for them. I think it's going to be a real uphill battle. Again, get to Tipico, big play 150 to get those bonus bets. Place them for tonight. We're going with the under. I like that anytime touchdown score combo of the 49ers to win and McCaffrey to score, and Ryan likes the over on Brock Purdy on a touchdown and a half passing. So those are our bets for tonight. Get signed up with Tipico, and we appreciate it. We'll be back for a Friday edition. Again, Jack Duffin's going to join us tomorrow from the OBRs, their capologist guy. He's not Andrew Berry's burner. He's just that damn good at what he does. So we'll talk to Jack about the Watson deal. We'll talk to him about really some of the other deals that I think are coming up for the Browns. We'll get to that. And our picks for the weekend. We'll get ready for Ohio State, Notre Dame as well. So we'll have a very busy Friday. We'll talk to you at 9 tomorrow. Don't forget all of our shows coming up. BigPlay.com for the schedule. Check it out. Chico comes your way at noon. Check him out. YouTube, social media, Twitter, all of it, and get the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Great stuff today. Appreciate everybody that joined us. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.